It's been in the back of my mind for quite a while, the whole climate change debate, environmental issues growing, pollution. So I've always felt very strongly.
Behind palace walls, a medical emergency has just unfolded that nobody saw coming. Doctors have delivered an urgent update that's left Prince William visibly shaken. And what they've revealed could change everything we thought we knew about the royal family's future. This is the moment that has the entire world holding its breath. The urgent medical alert. Just 1 minute ago, palace sources confirmed what many had feared but nobody wanted to believe. The medical team overseeing a critical situation within the royal family has delivered an update so urgent, so unexpected that it's left Prince William in a state of visible distress. Those who have seen him in the hours following this news describe a man transformed. His usual composure shattered by information that no husband, no father, no future king should ever have to receive. The update came through official channels late on the evening of December 15, 2025 during what should have been a routine check-in with the royal medical staff. Instead, what William heard in that private consultation has reportedly left him reeling. According to highly-placed sources within Kensington Palace, the Prince of Wales was seen pacing the corridors of his residence well past midnight, his face pale and drawn, his hands trembling as he clutched his mobile phone, making call after call to trusted confidants and family members. This isn't the first time the royal family has faced medical crisis. We remember all too well the health challenges that have plagued the monarchy in recent years. But what makes this particular update so alarming, so different from anything we've witnessed before, is the speed at which it's developed and the severity of what doctors are now saying. Palace insiders who spoke on condition of anonymity described the atmosphere inside Kensington Palace as absolutely suffocating, with staff members moving about in hushed tones, their faces etched with worry. The medical team, led by some of the most respected physicians in the United Kingdom, delivered their update during what was supposed to be a routine evening briefing. These are doctors who've served the royal family for decades, individuals who understand the delicate balance between medical necessity and royal protocol. For them to request an urgent meeting, for them to deliver news that would leave a man as strong as William shaken to his core speaks volumes about the gravity of the situation. What we're learning from sources close to the palace is that this update represents a significant deterioration in a condition that was believed to be stable. The medical language being used behind closed doors is reportedly filled with terms that even the most optimistic observers find deeply concerning. Words like critical, urgent, and immediate intervention have been mentioned by those who were present during the briefing, painting a picture far darker than anything the palace has been willing to acknowledge publicly. William's reaction, according to those who witnessed it firsthand, was immediate and visceral. The prince, known for his stoic demeanor and his ability to maintain composure under the most intense pressure, reportedly struggled to process what he was being told. One palace staffer described seeing him lean heavily against a wall, his eyes closed, his breath coming in short, sharp gasps as the full weight of the doctor's words sank in. This is a man who's faced down aggressive photographers, who served in combat situations, who's dealt with intense public scrutiny his entire life. Yet, this medical update has left him visibly shaken in ways we've never seen before. The timing of this update couldn't be worse. William has been working tirelessly to fulfill his royal duties, to be present for his children, to support his father, King Charles, and to prepare for the immense responsibility that awaits him as the future monarch. Now, with this urgent medical news, everything has been thrown into chaos. Royal engagements are being quietly cancelled, schedules are being rearranged, and the entire machinery of the monarchy is pivoting to deal with a crisis that nobody saw coming. Behind closed doors at Kensington Palace. The scene inside Kensington Palace in the hours following this urgent medical update has been described by those present as something out of a nightmare. The normally bustling residence, usually filled with the sounds of staff going about their duties and children playing, has fallen into an eerie, tense silence. William, according to multiple sources, has barely left a specific wing of the palace, spending hours in private consultations with medical staff, royal advisors, and family members who've rushed to his side. What's particularly heartbreaking about this situation is watching William try to shield his children from the full horror of what's unfolding. Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis are at an age where they understand far more than their parents might wish. Sources close to the family say William has been doing his absolute best to maintain some semblance of normalcy for them, ensuring they stick to their routines, that they get to school on time, that they have their evening meals together as a family. But those same sources admit that the strain is showing that the children can sense something is terribly wrong, even if they don't fully understand what it is. The emergency meetings taking place within Kensington Palace have been described as intense and emotionally charged. William has assembled a core team of trusted individuals, a small circle of advisors, medical professionals, and family members who are helping him navigate this unthinkable situation. These meetings, which have been running late into the night, focus not just on the immediate medical crisis, but on the broader implications for the family, for the monarchy, and for the future. Palace staff members who've witnessed William during these meetings describe a man caught between his roles as husband, father, and heir to the throne. In one moment, he's the concerned family member, his voice breaking with emotion as he asks the medical team questions about treatments, about timelines, about hope. In the next moment, he's the future king, his jaw set with determination as he discusses contingency plans and the need to maintain stability within the royal institution. It's a balancing act that would break most people, and there are genuine concerns among those close to him about how much pressure one man can take. The physical toll this is taking on William is becoming increasingly apparent to those around him. Normally meticulous about his appearance and his health, the prince has been seen looking exhausted, his face drawn and pale, his eyes redimmed from lack of sleep. He's reportedly barely eating, surviving on coffee and whatever his staff can convince him to have between meetings. Friends who've managed to reach him describe a man running on pure adrenaline and willpower. Someone who's pushing himself to the absolute limit because he knows he has no choice but to keep going. What makes this situation even more complex is the need for absolute discretion. While the rest of the world speculates about what's happening, William is living through a private hell that he can't fully share with anyone outside his innermost circle. The royal family's approach to privacy, especially regarding medical matters, means that William is navigating this crisis largely in isolation from the public support that many families facing similar situations might receive. It's a lonely place to be, and those close to him worry about the long-term impact this isolation and stress will have on his mental and emotional well-being. Inside Kensington Palace, specific protocols have been put in place to manage the situation. Access to certain areas has been restricted even to long-time staff members. Private medical equipment has been quietly moved into the residence, a clear indication that doctors are preparing for various scenarios. The palace's private medical suite, normally used for routine checkups and minor ailments, has been transformed into what sources describe as a fully equipped mini-hospital complete with monitoring equipment and emergency supplies. The medical team's grave concerns. The medical update that has left William so shaken centers around complications that doctors had hoped to avoid but now must confront head-on. According to sources with direct knowledge of the situation, the Royal Medical Team in consultation with specialists from some of London's most prestigious hospitals has identified a series of developments that require immediate and intensive intervention. What they've discovered is not just concerning, it's potentially life-altering. And the treatment options being discussed are as complex as they are daunting. The specifics of what doctors have communicated to William involve a deterioration that has occurred far more rapidly than anyone anticipated. Medical professionals who were cautiously optimistic just days ago are now using language that reflects a much darker reality. Terms like aggressive progression, limited treatment window, and high-risk intervention have been mentioned in the private briefings, painting a picture that's far removed from the carefully worded public statements the palace has released in recent months. What's particularly alarming to the medical team is that traditional treatment approaches haven't yielded the results they'd hoped for. According to insiders familiar with the medical discussions, doctors have been forced to consider alternative strategies, some of which carry significant risks of their own. These are the kinds of decisions that no family should have to make. The kind of choices that keep physicians awake at night, weighing potential benefits against possible catastrophic outcomes. The urgency of this latest update stems from test results that came back on December 14, 2025. Results that showed markers and indicators that medical professionals find deeply troubling. These weren't just slightly abnormal readings that could be explained away or monitored over time. These were results that demanded immediate action, that required the medical team to escalate their level of concern and to bring William into a conversation that no one wanted to have, but that could no longer be avoided. Palace medical staff working in coordination with external specialists have reportedly recommended a treatment protocol that's both aggressive and controversial. The approach being suggested involves procedures that are cutting-edge, that push the boundaries of current medical practice, and that come with no guarantees of success. For William, understanding the technical aspects of these recommendations while also processing the emotional weight of what they mean for his family has been almost unbearably difficult. What the doctors have made clear to William is that time is not on their side. The window for effective intervention is measured not in months or even weeks, but potentially in days. This urgency explains why the palace has moved so quickly to assemble the necessary medical resources, why specialists have been flown in from across Europe, and why William has been in almost constant consultation with the medical team. Every hour matters now, and the pressure to make the right decisions while the clock ticks down is immense. The medical team's concerns extend beyond the immediate crisis to the longer-term implications of whatever treatment path is chosen. They've been frank with William about the potential outcomes, about the possibility of complications, about the reality that even with the best medical care in the world, there are no guarantees. It's this brutal honesty, this medical realism that has left William so shaken. He's a man who's used to having options, to being able to influence outcomes, and now he's facing a situation where so much is beyond his control. Doctors have also expressed concern about the psychological and emotional impact of this crisis on the entire family. They've recommended that William consider counseling support, not just for himself, but for his children. Recognizing that the stress and uncertainty of this situation could have lasting effects, the palace has quietly arranged for mental health professionals to be available. Those sources say William has been resistant to seeking this kind of help for himself, preferring to focus all his energy on the immediate medical situation. William's private struggle behind the public facade of royal duty and composure. Prince William is going through what friends describe as the darkest period of his life. Those who know him well say they've never seen him like this. Never witnessed such visible anguish in a man who's made a career out of maintaining his dignity and strength under pressure. The urgent medical update has stripped away the protective layers William usually maintains, leaving him raw and vulnerable in ways that terrify those who care about him. In private moments when William thinks no one is watching, palace staff have witnessed scenes that break their hearts. They've seen him standing alone in darkened corridors, his forehead pressed against cold windows, his shoulders shaking with silent sobs. They've heard him on phone calls with close friends, his voice thick with emotion as he tries to articulate fears he can barely bring himself to acknowledge. This is a man who's always been the strong one, the reliable one, and now he's facing a situation that's testing him in ways he never imagined possible. The emotional toll is compounded by William's acute awareness of his own history with loss. Those close to him say he's been having vivid flashbacks to his mother's death, to that awful moment when he learned that Princess Diana was gone. The trauma of that loss, which William has worked so hard to process and move beyond, has come rushing back with devastating force. Friends say he's expressed fears about his children potentially going through what he went through, about them losing someone central to their world, and the thought of it is absolutely destroying him. William's struggle is also deeply tied to his sense of helplessness. This is a man who's trained for military service, who's flown rescue helicopters, who's literally saved lives. He's someone who takes action, who solves problems, who makes things happen. But in this situation, there's very little he can actually do. He can't fix this with willpower or determination. He can't rescue the person he loves from this medical crisis the way he once rescued people from dangerous situations. He's forced to sit on the sidelines, to trust doctors, to hope and pray. And for someone with William's personality, and training that enforced passivity is torture. The nights have been particularly brutal for William. Palace insiders report that he's barely sleeping, spending hours lying awake, his mind racing through worst-case scenarios and what-if questions that have no good answers. When he does manage to fall asleep, he's plagued by nightmares that leave him waking up in cold sweats, his heart pounding, his breath coming in gasps. The cumulative effect of this sleep deprivation is taking a serious toll, affecting his ability to think clearly, to make decisions, to be the strong presence his family needs him to be. What's particularly heartbreaking is watching William try to maintain hope in the face of such grim medical news. Those around him describe moments where he'll suddenly seem lighter, more optimistic, talking about future plans and acting as if everything will work out fine. But these moments of hope are always followed by crashes back into reality, into the stark truth of what doctors are telling him, and the emotional whiplash of moving between hope and despair is exhausting for everyone who witnesses it. William has also been struggling with questions of faith and fairness. Friends say he's been asking why this is happening. Why now? What his family has done to deserve this kind of suffering. These aren't questions that have easy answers. And the palace chaplain, who's been spending considerable time with William, has reportedly found it challenging to provide the kind of spiritual comfort that might help. William's always been a man of faith, but this crisis is testing his beliefs in profound ways. The prince is also dealing with the added pressure of knowing that the entire world is watching. That every move he makes, every public appearance will be scrutinized for signs of how he's coping. Even as he's going through private hell, he's expected to maintain his royal duties, to appear at official functions, to smile and shake hands and pretend that everything is fine. The disconnect between his public persona and his private reality is becoming increasingly difficult to manage, and those close to him worry about how long he can keep up this exhausting performance. The royal family's response. The urgent medical update that has devastated William has sent shock waves through the entire royal family, triggering a response that reveals both the strength of their family bonds and the vulnerabilities of this ancient institution. King Charles, upon hearing the news, immediately cleared his schedule and made his way to Kensington Palace, arriving in the early hours of December 16, 2025 to be with his son during this unimaginable crisis. Sources describe an emotional reunion between father and son, with Charles embracing William in a way that palace staff found deeply moving. King Charles, who has himself faced serious health challenges in recent years, brings a unique understanding to what William is going through. Those present during their private conversations describe the king as being both a father offering comfort and a monarch providing guidance on how to navigate a crisis while maintaining the stability of the crown. It's a delicate balance, and Charles is drawing on decades of experience to help his son through this darkest of times. But even the king, with all his wisdom and experience, is reportedly struggling with his own emotions. Torn between his duties as monarch and his desire to simply be there as a father. The response from other senior royals has been equally swift and supportive. Princess Anne, known for her nonsense approach and her fierce loyalty to family, has been a constant presence at Kensington Palace, providing practical support and emotional strength. She's been helping to manage the logistical chaos that this crisis has created, ensuring that royal duties are covered, that schedules are adjusted, and that the machinery of monarchy continues to function even as one of its key members is in crisis. Anne's military background and her experience with managing difficult situations have made her invaluable during these dark days. Prince Edward and Sophie, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, have also stepped up in remarkable ways. Sophie, who has always had a close relationship with William, has been spending time with the children, providing them with stability and comfort when their father is tied up in medical consultations and emergency meetings. Edward has been working behind the scenes to manage the public relations aspects of the crisis, ensuring that the palace's communication strategy protects the family's privacy while also managing public interest and concern. The most complicated response has come from across the Atlantic, where Prince Harry has learned of the medical crisis through various channels. Sources say Harry immediately reached out to William, setting aside years of tension and conflict to offer support during this terrible time. The conversation between the brothers was reportedly emotional and difficult, with both men struggling to navigate their complicated relationship while facing a situation that puts everything else into perspective. Whether this crisis will lead to any lasting reconciliation between Harry and William remains to be seen, but for now the focus is purely on getting through this immediate emergency. Queen Camilla has taken on additional duties to allow Charles to spend more time supporting William. She's been conducting royal engagements that were scheduled for the king, maintaining the public-facing work of the monarchy while the family deals with private trauma. Those who've interacted with Camilla during this period describe her as being remarkably composed and professional, though insiders say she's deeply worried about both her husband and her stepson. Concerned about the toll this is taking on the men she loves. The royal household staff have also rallied around William in ways that go far beyond their job descriptions. Long-serving members of the palace team have been working extended hours, providing support, running errands, managing logistics, and doing whatever they can to ease the burden on William and his family. The loyalty and dedication being shown by these staff members is remarkable, and it speaks to the genuine affection many of them have for William personally, not just as their employer, but as someone they've watched grow up and whom they genuinely care about. Behind the scenes, the royal family has also been mobilizing resources in ways that demonstrate their unique position and influence. Medical consultants from around the world have been contacted. Specialists in cutting-edge treatments have been asked to consult, and no expense is being spared in the effort to provide the best possible care. The family's connections to medical institutions, research facilities, and healthcare organizations globally are all being leveraged to ensure that every possible option is being explored. What happens next? As the royal family grapples with this urgent medical crisis, the question on everyone's mind is what happens next? Medical experts familiar with the situation, speaking on condition of anonymity, paint a picture that's both complex and uncertain. The treatment protocols being considered represent some of the most advanced medical interventions available, but they come with risks that are as significant as the potential benefits. William and his family are facing decisions that will shape not just the immediate future, but potentially the trajectory of the entire monarchy for decades to come. The immediate next steps involve a series of medical procedures that have been scheduled to begin within days. These interventions, according to sources close to the medical team, are time-sensitive and cannot be delayed without potentially catastrophic consequences. The palace has been making quiet preparations for these procedures, arranging for the necessary medical personnel, equipment, and facilities while trying to maintain absolute discretion about the details. The logistics alone are staggering, involving coordination between multiple hospitals, specialist teams, and security personnel who must ensure privacy and safety throughout the process. Medical experts outside the palace, when asked to comment on similar situations, emphasize that outcomes in these cases are highly variable and depend on numerous factors that are impossible to predict with certainty. What this means for William and his family is that they're entering a period of intense uncertainty where day to day, sometimes hour to hour, they'll be receiving updates about progress, about complications, about setbacks and breakthroughs. It's a kind of emotional roller coaster that few people ever have to ride, and the strain of living in this state of suspended animation. Looking beyond the immediate medical crisis, there are profound questions about how this will affect the future of the monarchy. If outcomes are positive, if treatments are successful, there will still be a long recovery period that will impact William's ability to fulfill his royal duties. The palace will need to carefully manage public expectations, explaining why the Prince of Wales might have a reduced schedule, why certain engagements might be postponed, all while maintaining the privacy that medical situations demand. It's a communications challenge unlike anything the palace has faced in recent memory. If outcomes are less favorable, the implications become even more complex and difficult. The royal family would need to navigate not just personal grief, but also questions about succession, about the stability of the monarchy, about how to move forward when the future they'd planned for has been fundamentally altered. These are conversations that William is undoubtedly having with his father and with senior palace advisors. Painful discussions about contingencies, about contingent that no one wants to contemplate, but that responsible planning demands be considered. For William personally, the coming weeks and months will be among the most challenging of his life. He'll need to balance his role as a concerned family member with his responsibilities as heir to the throne. He'll need to be present for his children while also managing the demands of royal duty. He'll need to maintain hope while also preparing himself emotionally for various potential outcomes. It's an impossible set of demands on any one person. And those close to William are genuinely concerned about whether he can sustain this level of pressure without breaking. The children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, will also need intensive support as this situation unfolds. Child psychologists consulted by the palace have recommended age-appropriate ways to communicate with them about what's happening, strategies for helping them process their emotions, and techniques for maintaining stability in their routines. Even as everything else feels uncertain, the palace has been implementing these recommendations. But there's no escaping the fact that this experience will shape these children in profound ways, influencing who they become and how they view their roles within the royal family. Looking further ahead, there are questions about how this crisis might change William himself. Those who know him well say that experiences like this have the power to transform people, to shift priorities, to change perspectives on what really matters in life. If William emerges from this crisis, regardless of the outcome, he'll likely be a different person than he was before. How that transformation will affect his approach to his royal duties, his relationship with the monarchy, and his vision for the future of the institution remains to be seen. What's clear is that this urgent medical update has set in motion a series of events that will reverberate through the royal family and the monarchy itself for years to come. The next chapter in this unfolding story will be written in hospital rooms and private consultations, in tearful conversations and agonizing decisions, in moments of hope and periods of despair. William, who has always been seen as the stable, reliable future of the monarchy, is now facing his greatest test. And the entire world is watching to see how he navigates this darkest of times. The urgent update that left William shaken is just the beginning of what promises to be a long and difficult journey. Whatever happens next, the royal family will be forever changed by these events, and the monarchy will need to adapt to a new reality shaped by this crisis. For now, all anyone can do is wait and pray that the medical team can deliver better news in the days and weeks to come. But the uncertainty of this moment, the fear, and the anguish will remain with William and his family long after this immediate crisis has passed. A reminder of how fragile life can be, even for those who seem to have everything.